Think 2 years ago what it was like to watch Nancy Pelosi with that gavel in her hand, gaveling in the idea of voting for a piece of legislation before we actually read it. That is not the kind of leadership that our country demands. That is not the kind of Democrat, quite frankly, that the Democrats demand. And it's why their party is fractured and has lost itself. But to the Democrats, the Republican wave that swept from one end of the country to the other was not a repudiation of their party or of their principles. Rather, to them it was a sign of weakness in the American spirit for refusing to get behind them and their left-of-center agenda. But 11 months later, they still in Washington refuse to admit that they were wrong. Just look at Obama's administration's stubbornness instance in his second stimulus, where he thinks Washington can create jobs rather than the private sector, rather than the innovators. This is what they are focusing on through this election. But since they have failed to grasp this lesson, we Republicans must stand firm. We need to make Barack Obama a one-term president. We need to make Harry Reid the minority leader in the Senate. And we need to finally return Nancy Pelosi to one last airplane ride to San Francisco. We need to get behind Republican candidates who share our principles and then work as hard as we can to elect them. We need more Republicans, not just here in Montpelier or more Republicans in Washington. We need more Republicans in local and state offices everywhere in the country. We need to speak with one solid voice. We need to stop talking about them, about the Democrats, and we need to stop talking about what they're doing to harm America, and we need to start talking about us. We need to start talking about what we are going to do to get us on the right track. Because I can tell you this with certainty, hoping and wishing aren't alone enough. Our opponents refuse to go gently. They made it abundantly clear that they are willing to do anything and everything to climb into power and to keep that power. So if they are to go, it is us, average Americans, who are going to make sure that we put a stop to it. We've got to work harder than we ever did before. We've got to come together in unity closer than we ever did before. And we've got to campaign as if America's future depends on us, as if it never has before. I'm speaking not just as a member of Congress, not just as American, but a father of 2 young children. 2 young children who may not have a better opportunity than I had because of the policies of this president and of his party. We have a choice facing our nation. But it is up to us to decide what path the nation will take. Earlier I told you a little bit about what it's like to serve in the 112th Congress, but we have it in our power, to determine what serving in the 113th Congress could be like. And I think together through our active efforts, we have the ability to remove the roadblocks and clear the way for advances that Americans keep telling us they want to see. We can make a balanced budget amendment a reality for the first time in our nation's history. We can see federal bureaucratic regulators put back in their place and their ability to harm communities and small businesses and families. We can curtail that. We can repeal Obamacare in totality, and we can prevent the government from intruding into your relationship with your family doctor. We can stop the senseless practice of going year after year without passing a federal budget. And finally, we can give job creators the predictability and the stability that they so yearn for, so they can expand their payrolls, hire more people, create wealth, create opportunity again in our nation. And perhaps most important of all, we can show the American people that we are worthy of the great trust that they have placed in us. And maybe, just maybe, we can begin to win back the confidence and regain their respect as leaders of America. I believe that our future is ours to shape, it's ours to mold as Republicans. But we have to decide if that's the approach we want to take. 3 decades ago, Ronald Reagan shared his vision of a shining city on a hill. Much has happened during these last 3 decades. Some we're proud of, some we're not. But the vision, I think, still remains. And that vision of a peaceful, prosperous city, filled with industry and commerce, of respect and tolerance, of pride and strength, a beacon that can inspire the entire world with the warmth of its glow, coming right here from America. We need to seize this moment as Republicans. We need to seize this moment as parents. But above all, we need to seize this moment as proud Americans. And if we seize that moment, there is no end to what we can do as a nation. But it's the Republican Party that will lead this nation to that prosperity. I'm proud to be part of it. I can't wait to have you continue to be part of it. And with that trust, I believe our America will be the America we once remembered. Thank you so much for having me here tonight. God bless you and God bless you.